Culture?
Sure.
Schöne Lights geturnt zu Seiten, so wie Möglichkeiten. Wow. Neues Outfit, teure
Hey, what's up? My name is SAWATARIX, aka SAWATARIX. I'm a Magic player and I paint tokens for other MTG players.
Brainstorm?
red and blues from behind. Move slow. We from where red lights mean go. Green lights mean faster. Red and blues from behind. Move slow till they pass you.
Stoneforge Mystic Activation.
Sure.
Und den Germ Token bringe ich rein.
Nein.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy SAWATARIX, aka SAWATARIX. Welcome to this Wednesday night stream. Yeah, Wednesday night stream. This is gonna be a special one because I'm gonna read out and I'm gonna react to all your hot takes in Legacy. That's right. And also, why don't we have music on this channel? Hold on. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it. It's gonna be like a cozy session. So I reached out to all of you on all my social media, like on Twitter, or should I call it X, on Blue Sky, on Instagram, on my Discord, on several other Discords, on my Facebook page, in WhatsApp groups, dude, like on all the channels, because I was curious. Like, you know, like just the other day, the CEDH channel Eisenherz released an episode where, you know, like they collected all the hot takes for CEDH, and I watched it and I found it really interesting, you know, because like the CEDH folks have like a lot of stuff to say, and I was like, dude, like we can do the same too in Legacy, right? We can do the same thing in Legacy, right? That's right. So yeah, I went ahead and spread the word, you know. So what are your hot takes for Legacy, right? What are your hot takes? And I try to not read any of them before the stream. Now, obviously, like if I see stuff on social media, like I can't unsee it, right? Like if there's like something like, I don't know, like short and stuff, like I gotta read it, right? But like most of the comments, most of the hot takes I have not seen yet, or I've not really read so far, so I'm gonna like live react to those hot takes and see if there are actually hot takes or if it's hot garbage. Okay, all right, with that being said, I think we're gonna jump right into this hot takes. I don't know how many we have. I think we have a lot of them, so I don't know, like this might be like a longer stream or so. But yeah, get yourself a drink. I wish I had like beer at home, but I ran out of beer for some reason, dude. That's happening to me, who moved to Germany, and I'm running out of beer. So I'm drinking like a Club-made winter edition. It's like a true like winter beverage, because it's May right now. So cheers. And yeah, dude, Raphael, how's it going? Oloro, Nas, Drenas, it's Julian. Hey, Julian, how's it going? How's it going, buddy? Dude, you had one of the longer hot takes. I have to reread everything. Hi, sir, how's it going? How's it going? Very nice to have you guys already in the pod. I would say, since it's like so much stuff, I'm gonna share my phone with you. So we can live react to everything together. All right, let's see if this works out. This is like technology from the 21st century, so we might fail. Oh shit, okay, this is not it. But hold on. Maybe I can fix it. Maybe I can fix it. And boom, we fixed it. That's my phone. But you know what? I think we also... How about an iPhone frame? Boom, baby! Yeah, dude! Dude, you got a proper iPhone on screen right now. So this is my normal iPhone. Like, if you ask me like 20 years ago, I had like on my first page, I had like all games. Like, what's it called again? Temple Runner, I think. Angry Birds. What else? Oh, dude, I had like so many games. That fruit ninja thing where you had to like chop watermelons and stuff. So yeah, like my front iPhone page was just that, right? I think it was like one messenger and the rest was like all games. And now, yeah, and look at this bullshit. It's like all social media now. So I don't know, dude. Yeah, I guess I'm getting old, but I think we're gonna start with, where do we start? I'm gonna just pick social media number 1, which is Twitter. And let me see. This was the initial post. This was the initial tweet, right? MTG Legacy players, give me your MTG Legacy hot takes and statements. I will do a stream YouTube video where I read out all your hot takes and comment on them. And then the smiley faces which go like, and. So, the first one is from Rob Rosine. Sorry if I butchered your name. Rob, how's it going, buddy? Control has gotten stale, not by lack of new releases, but by lack of innovation. True. I think I can definitely agree. There's not enough Control players. I think, dude, I'm gonna say it out loud. Like, I'm way too lazy to play Control on Magic Online. Dude, how do you know like how long it takes to finish a league? I think it was like 3 hours the last time I tried like a 4-color Control deck. Dude, never again. So yeah, can definitely agree. Philip Klein says, oops, all spells is fine and nowhere near broken. Dude, that's like, dude, that is something an oops all spells player would say. Yeah, dude, if I was an oops all spells, I would definitely say that, dude, the deck's fine, dude. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Dude, cut those ley lines from the sideboard, dude. Yeah, you gotta be fine. You gotta be fine. You know, you got force of will. Funny. MTG Black Set says, White Plume Adventurer did nothing wrong and should be unbanned now after Modern Horizons 3. Dude, Modern Horizons...
Thanks for your subscription.
Yeah. Julian, thank you for the resub, dude. Thank you, dude. I hate you so much, dude. Okay. Cool. That was yeah. That was one of the hot takes. Marcus, how's it going? First time chat. Holy shit, how's it going? So, back to MTG Black Set, who says, White Plume Adventurer did nothing wrong and should be unbanned now after Modern Horizons 3. Nah, dude. Nah, what are you talking about, dude? Nah. I don't think... Or is there anything that would justify... No, definitely not. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Gino from support says, Glimpse Elves is not as unplayable as someone always says it is. That someone is me. Funny. I gotta say though, I think Oakish Bowmasters, dude, like Bowmasters is like, you know, it's like a wave, you know, like sometimes you see a lot of them, sometimes you actually don't see any at all. I think now is a terrible time again because Kaito is very popular. And Oakish Bowmasters is like one of the better creatures to pick up with Kaito, with ninjutsu, so... I don't know about that, but I think Glimpse Elves definitely deserves a spot. I think like if you play Glimpse Elves versus like the current control decks, I think you might have a decent shot of ungrinding them. Alright, Felix Östling. Felix, how's it going, dude? DRC, no, DRS! Not DRC, dude. Deathrite Shaman isn't that horrible for Legacy. Remove the reserved list. Okay, that's 2 hot takes. Deathrite Shaman isn't that horrible for Legacy. Agree. I think they can definitely unban Deathrite Shaman and will probably be fine. Cause, you know, at this point, I think like every graveyard removal is actually more than okay. And Deathrite is like not too broken. Adam, what's up? Thank you for the follow. I think that's totally fine. It is powerful, but like it was broken 10 years ago. It doesn't mean that it's broken now. It's super powerful, but like the competition is much higher. All right, Timo Bertram says Ancient Tomb should have been banned a long time ago. That's funny. You know, like a year or two ago, it was in Italy. Julian, Callum, and I, like we were working. It was like after the Legacy main event, I think, and we walked to like this pizza place. And while we were talking, we had this strange conversation where like we ended up thinking that Ancient Tomb is so much better than Ponder or so. And did we say that? No, it was different. But I think the outcome of our talk was that turn 1 Ponder is actually not that good anymore, but turn 1 Ancient Tomb is. Yeah, I think that's how we said it. Yeah. Okay, so yes, Ancient Tomb very strong. Can only agree. I think if you add Ancient Tomb to... Did I ever tell you guys that like that was more than 10 years ago? I tried out Ancient Tomb and the other one, the one you have to sack. Not the... Oh gosh, dude, like it's a colorless land. You tap it for 1, or you can tap sack it to add 2. You know what I mean? I tried those. Crystal Wayne, yeah, dude, Crystal Wayne. Hold on, Crystal Wayne.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, dude, Crystal Wayne. Crystal Wayne and Ancient Tomb. I tried them in ad nauseum tendrils, and I was so unimpressed that I thought those cards legitimately suck. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Crop says many Legacy players would rather complain about the meta than adapt to it. Yes. If you ever go to Japan, you'll find the opposite, where Japanese Legacy players don't complain as much as European Legacy players. That is for damn sure. Yeah, they adapt like way faster. I also like to adapt. I'm not... Like, if you follow my social media, you know that I usually don't complain about Magic cards or text or whatever. Like, you know, there are times when I find the Legacy meta game like very appealing, and then there are times when it's like, yeah, I mean, you know, like it was definitely cooler before, but maybe we can get back to that thing. But I rarely complain, because it doesn't really fix the situation, right? Like, if I complain, like, what is that gonna do for really anyone? So... All right, cool. That's it for that's it for Twitter. Let's go over to Blue Sky. And yes, I opened a Blue Sky account.
Let's fucking go.
Don't have many followers just yet, like only 79, but the 79 are true brothers. So if you have Blue Sky, find me on Blue Sky. It's Kai Sawatari. All right. Let's go to Blue Sky. There might not be many comments here, but maybe a few. Let's see. Rouge. Hey, Rouge, how's it going? Rouge says, most Legacy players aren't as good as they think they are. Most Legacy players. Dude, you're... This is so true, dude. Dude, like So I have met so many Legacy players. You know, I meet them for the first time, and then they go like, yeah, oh yeah, dude, I've been playing Sneak and Show for 4 years, dude, and you know, I know the deck inside out, and oh yeah, all good matchups, by the way. Reanimator, dude, good matchup. Tempo, good matchup. Control, also good matchup. And Mirror Up, probably 80% for me, you know, those kind of people. It's so funny, because there are so many of them, dude. There are so many who, yeah, who have a really strong opinion on themselves. Also, my INSTA included, I think. Man, like I was probably like 21, 22 years old, maybe 23, shortly before moving to Japan. And I had such a strong opinion on Admirals and Tendrils, and I also... Man, like it was so embarrassing, because I think at some point I introduced myself as like one of the 5 best Storm players on the world or some shit like that. And dude, like in my head, I already knew that I was like a liar. But yeah, it's so funny. I kind of want to see the opposite, where like someone, you know, comes around, goes like, "Oh, you dude, I think I actually kind of suck at this game." And then they go like 7-0 in the Swiss, you know? Yeah, dude, I wanna see that. So Root, yes, 100% with you. Victor Bernards says, hi Victor. I think he's from Finland, I think, or Sweden, Norway. The recent bannings changed nothing in the meta, showing that banning Mycospawn was just pandering to people screaming loudly with no improvement for everyone else. Is that so? I mean, like, do we see a lot of control right now in Legacy? Like, not really. Not really. So I have to say that like the metagame usually takes a little bit longer to adapt, right? It just doesn't go like this, you know, where like all of a sudden like the metagame is like completely different. That's not how Legacy, especially Legacy, works, I think. It just kind of like slowly adapts. But yeah. Did anyone notice anything about Mycospawn? Because I almost forgot that this card got banned. Right, you just reminded me that this card got banned. I didn't notice shit, dude. Okay, funny. All right, that was Blue Sky. Let's go over to... Okay, cool. I'm just gonna get a new drink. Just... Oops. Hold on, dude. Hold on.
Yo, what's up everyone? It's your boy Kai Sawatari, aka SAWATARIX, and it's time for another alteration. This time I picked Dark Ritual, which is my absolute favorite instant of all time. And it's crazy to me that I haven't done a graffiti alteration on a Dark Ritual yet, because like I've done so many already, and like this card has, I don't know, I just never pulled it out of my deck, I suppose. But yeah, here I am. So you go with the outlines first, and then add like a filling color. I use Posca pens for this. After making sure that the color all sticks, add a little bit of more flames, like purple. I really felt like purple and like toxic greens would kind of go really nicely with this Dark Ritual art. Some highlights, you know, this and that. Yeah, that's it. Which one is your favorite?
Okay, cool. Should we change the music? Let me do this. Okay, this is some elevator music. Yeah, dude. Okay. Cool. Welcome back. So, let me see if I got any responses on Instagram. Can I? You know, how do I find the responses to my Instagram? I don't even know. Also, like, who is this? Okay. Tim Henning says... Wait, hold on. Can I? Yeah, alright. Okay, cool. So, I'm Philly G. Hey, dude, how's it going? Says, ban Modern Horizons sets. I don't dislike the idea. Modern Horizons is... Oh, man, like, the problem is, like, the cards are powerful, but they're also addictive. So, I don't know. Like, I'm like, half and half on this. Like cards like Ragavan, dude, fuck them. But cards like Dress Down, Endurance, I think, do a lot of good stuff for the format. Ursa Saga too, dude. Like, I don't want to miss out on Ursa Saga, so... I don't know how you feel, or if you guys feel about this, but yeah. I have mixed feelings. And then, cool, my wife says mouse, which is basically no comment. I definitely agree. Tim Henning says CDH is far superior. Dude, I thought you play Legacy too. You can drink tea and coffee at the same time, no? Okay, cool. That was Insta. Let's go over to Facebook. There we are. Okay. So, yeah, same question, right? Legacy hot takes. So, Rafael Werder says, I'm almost 40, so I had to look that up. In journalism, a hot take is a piece of... Oh no, he's just talking about like what a hot take is. Okay, that is already... That's another hot take. It's just explaining what a hot take is. Okay. Mein hot take is... Okay, this is German, so I'm gonna do my best to translate this in English, alright? Und ich hoffe, ich verbaue dir damit nicht die Top 8 in Prag. Ich hatte noch nie eine Top 8 in Prag, aber danke. Zu viele gute Spells, die 2 plus beliebige Farben kosten. Man kann sich eigentlich nicht mehr leisten, 3 Länder für 3 Mana-Spells zu tappen, wenn man stattdessen 2 Länder tappen könnte. Momentan interessieren mich sehr blaue Tomb-Decks, die 2 Länder tappen, um 3 Mana-Spells zu casten. Größter Fehler in MTG History, dass Narset Part of Veils nicht 2 Blue, sondern 1 Blue kostet. Okay. So, basically, Raphael is saying that there are too many good spells in Legacy that cost 2 colorless mana and 1 colored mana, right? Like Show and Tell, for example. And it just got very hard for cards to... Yeah, like we have to tap 3 lands. Like for example, Teferi Time Raveler. Like you definitely have to tap 3 lands to cast Teferi Time Raveler, right? But to cast, let's say like, yeah, Show and Tell, or is there another good example? Like Stock Up, for example. Like you can tap Island Ancient Tomb. So he's referring to like tapping 3 lands for a 3 mana spell. It's maybe too slow. And Narset Part of Veils should have been like 2 blue. Oh, I will definitely disagree on the Narset thing. Because if Narset was 2 colorless blue, then Legacy would be full of Narset Days Undoing bullshit. I can guarantee you that there's gonna be like most... Yeah, like LED, Ancient Tomb, what's it called? Like the Mox Opal, Days Undoing, Hull Breacher. Yeah, dude, it would be a nightmare for Legacy, I think. Because that deck sucks to play against. I hate that deck so much because it doesn't matter, dude. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of hand you kept, because like you get Mind Twist anyway. Actually, yeah, is it Mind Twisted? Like you lose your entire hand, right? So you can already mulligan to 0. All right. So. Okay, Philipp Klein already. Oops, Spells is fine. Die Leute sind nur zu bequem. Ein ordentliches Sideboard spawn. Oh yeah, we talked about Philipp already and Oops, Spells. Und Raphael. Noch ein Tag zu Oops, Spells, der irgendwie auch zu meinem Ancient Tomb Hot Take passt. Ban Spirit Guides. Das regelt Oops und andere All-in-Decks drunter, ohne sie zu zerstören. Das Problem an Legacy ist zu viel Fast Mana. Mono Red ohne Spirit Guides ist auch ein bisschen fairer. Es geht auch kein Deck mehr mit so schnell mit Initiative-Kreaturen All-In. Andere Decks genauso. Spirit Guides zu bannen zerstört keine Decks. Gut, Necrodominant spielt das jemand. Ich. Jedenfalls ist schnelles Zusatzmana, dass man nicht einmal casten muss, Banane. Mein Argument ist auch, dass das Power-Level ein bisschen zu hoch ist. Okay. Wenn du nicht erfolgreich interagierst, gewinne ich. Und wenn du... Oh Gott, ich kann nicht lesen. Erfolgreich interagierst, dann verliere ich zu 95%. Das ist für mich kein guter Punkt, in dem sich Format befindet. Yeah, so basically Raphael is saying like we should ban Spirit Guides because Spirit Guides are so hard to interact. Duh, they don't use the stack. And they make it so that everyone kind of jams haymakers all the time, right? I can agree. I think... Oh man, dude, like fast mana is rough, right? It's similar to Ancient Tomb. I would enjoy Legacy more if there were no Spirit Guides. I think I can agree on that. I think the most annoying thing is like if you want to daze something, if you want to daze Uncity Informer and then they pitch Spirit Guide and you feel like an idiot. Okay, cool. Let's go over to Discord. Yeah, so same thing again. Ask the question. We got Tom Twice says, "Oops isn't broken. You are just unwilling to skew your sideboard hard enough." I think we can all agree on this. Like, if you ever played Vintage, you see that half of the sideboard is graveyard hate because of Bazaar of Baghdad. And Legacy players have not adapted that balance maybe in your sideboard, like that it's okay to have more than one Grafdigger's Cage or like a single one of Surgical Extraction in your sideboard. That's 2012 thinking. Just to have like one single Grafdigger's Cage and to think it's alright. If Oops All Spells is doing great and if Reanimator is doing fine in Legacy, you should probably run like many Grafdigger's Cages. Like why not 3, for example, or even more. The Eternally Surprised says, more on Oops. Oops creates a wider gap between online and paper meta. Oops is the best deck for socializing in paper events. That's funny. You do get a lot of time to yeah, talk about random things with your opponent after the game, because your game is over in 2 minutes, so you have a lot. You can talk about a lot of non-magic related bullshit after your round. Yes, if that's what you're into, then definitely give Oops All Spells a try. Oh yeah. Oh, this is like one of my quotes. I think the only quote I added is, opponent says good luck, have fun, you die on turn 1, dude. And we all know it's true. We all know it's true. You sit down at a tournament, your opponent says good luck, have fun, and maybe he goes like I can't even mimic this, you know? But like yeah, dude. Like you are 100%, you are like this close to death, dude. You are already dead, actually. You don't, like, you can already go to your next round, maybe. So yeah, if you play Death and Taxes, definitely say good luck, have fun, because people might keep the Mind Break traps and forces, and then you go like turn 1 Mother of Runes. So, okay, cool. This is enough elevator music, I think. Okay. Alrighty. So, dude, Julie, what's up with the MILF podcast subscription? Dude, shh, don't tell my mom, dude. Okay, what else do we have? Oh shit, I also asked the same question on the Everyday Eternal Lounge somewhere. Yeah. So, first hot take by Callum, aka Callum the Smithy. Kai sucks. Oh, I guess that's not a hot take. Okay, I will not comment on this, but I can't disagree, that's a problem. Alright. Melty Man says, tournament organizers should allow only proxy cards. What do you mean? Like, does that mean that you are not allowed to play real cards? Tournament organizers should allow only proxy cards? I don't get that. Like, if I have, dude, if I have an Underground Sea in real, like, I wanna play that. No? Reserved list should be banned if Legacy, if proxy cards are forbidden. Reserved list should be banned in Legacy if proxy cards are forbidden. Wait, hold on. Does that mean that Legacy is gonna look like Modern if you don't have any dual lands? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Then I'm probably gonna go ahead and play Modern. DU says, my hot take is MTGO clock times should be reduced for competitive settings. Yeah, I think I can agree on this. I think 25 minutes is just too much. It's especially annoying if you play in a Legacy challenge, for example, and then there are every now and then you have an opponent who like uses their entire clock on their Delver deck, you know what I mean? Like, and you sit there and like, dude, like, did it really take you like 3 minutes to daze my spell? Like, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think 20 minutes is more than enough for most decks, even for control decks. You just gotta play faster. And like in paper, you do this already, right? Like, yeah, just don't give control players too much time. Is my statement as someone who never plays control. So, all right. Zishi says, does that make Kai doesn't suck the hot take? Yes. Anything else? I think this is probably it. Yeah, okay, cool. And then what else do we have? Yeah, so I posted the question in somewhere in here too, in the Cabal Discord. I just gotta scroll because yeah, this is like a lot. Let's see. Does anyone need a break? Can we move on? Okay, we can move on. Cool. Yeah, so yo dudes collecting Legacy hot takes, blah blah blah. So Samantha says Legacy has been struggling with slow bans, but even if Wizards of the Coast was correct on the ban speed, the format would not be a good format. It is a good thing that Legacy is not supported as a competitive by Wizards of the Coast. Like, yeah, I think so. Like, it's already like slow. There's like, if you compare the number of Legacy players compared to like other formats, like Legacy is relatively small, right? So you don't see a lot of new deck lists like every day. So it's like, we already struggle to find innovation sometimes because the majority of Legacy players, I want to say, like, and also like myself included sometimes, like we tend to just go on MTG Goldfish, for example, or like just look up decks that are doing well in Legacy, like in like recent tournaments, right? And then we kind of copy paste them, or we take a similar deck or stuff like that. But like, there is that, and also like the slow bans. I think the last couple of bans, the general reaction from most people was, okay, it's cool that they banned, like, for example, Psychic Frog, but they could have also banned like this, and this, right? So I don't think it's gonna like happen. I don't think that Wizards is ever gonna ban more than 2 cards for Legacy at the same time. I just don't think that's realistic. And if they do, I'd obviously be stoked. But yeah, I think it's probably better to just accept it and to adapt. So Jamie says, there is no reason to play a fair blue deck when you could play an unfair blue deck instead. Yes, absolutely agree. Is there what's the fairest blue deck you can think of? What's the fairest blue deck? Like Merfolk? Esper Stoneblade? Beans? Yeah, Beans is fair. But Beans needs to really keep up with everything, right? Like, I think the only reason why Beans is doing like relatively okay in Legacy is because they have so much card draw, and like because all the interaction kinda hits perfectly. But yeah, whenever there's like a complete like off the wall, I don't know, like fucking Mississippi River kind of deck, you know, or even like Enchantress maybe. I don't know about Enchantress, but like something that's not on their radar, like they would probably just die. Okay, so there is that. Okay, Wanda Pro says, Max Carini, Doomsday Expert says, most unbanned talk is stupid and unnecessary. No good game of Legacy is going to come from Mind Twist or Mana Drain, and no one cares that you're sitting on spec of 1,000 Earthcrafts. Yeah, so I'm not a finance person, so I don't have a strong opinion on, like, you know, on someone or if it's okay to have 1,000 copies of Earthcraft at home, or like million Yawgmoth Bargains, for example, you know, like in hope that the card's finally gonna be unbanned in Legacy. Yeah, I just don't do this, and I also don't find it particularly interesting. Mind Twist and Mana Drain, yeah, like if you like Mana Twist and Mana Drain, Mind Twist and Mana Drain, you should probably play Old School, or like just play whatever the other what's it called? Not the old the format after Old School. You know what I mean? The other old set. But yeah. Is there any... I think the only exception is like... So Max is talking about like the super old cards, right? Like Mind Twist and Mana Drain. They're from Alpha Legends and stuff like that. I think you can kind of draw the line. I think Deathrite Shaman, as I mentioned, like or as Philip mentioned, is totally okay to have in Legacy. I would actually be stoked to see Death Ride. And maybe there are some others too. Okay. Also, Microspawn was a net good for the format. I'm sick of rounds going to time. Yeah, dude. As we mentioned already, like, we didn't even notice anything about Microspawn, but yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Joan Larson says, Buck Beans is much worse than beans with white. Buck Beans is much worse than beans with white. I can definitely confirm that beans with leyline binding is nuts. And Buck has a little bit of problems like dealing with everything. They can deal with like half the format maybe, but not with the entire format. Okay, Max Gilmore, Max Torsten says, Oops All Spells isn't any better than the other good decks, but because the deck was a meme tier deck for a decade, losing to it feels worse than losing to, say, Sneak and Show, because we collectively think Oops is supposed to be bad. I cannot agree more on this. Oops All Spells, I think, is there anyone on this planet who took the deck seriously when it came out? I don't think so. Like, cause everything that looks like Belcher is like, so at least like we used to say, dude, you can give Belcher to like a fucking monkey and they can go 5-0, no problem, right? And like we kind of said the same thing about Oops All Spells, so I can definitely understand if people are upset if they lose to Oops All Spells, but then at the same time, dude, like fucking buy your ley lines, like what's the problem, right? Okay. Harain Everett says, Blood Moon and Chalice makes the game objectively worse and are egregious design mistakes. You know what? Harain, I think did you just lose to Blood Moon and Chalice maybe like 5 minutes ago? In the Legacy League? Oh man, dude. Well, like, no one likes to get Blood Mooned or Chaliced. But there are, like, what do you think about the card Force of Vigor? Like, it deals with both cards. It's not bad, dude. It's a green card. That's the only thing that sucks about Force of Vigor, dude. But if Force of Vigor was blue... Ooh, dude, Chef's good. Maybe you should run Plainter Servant and make it blue. Alright. That's funny. Okay. Cameron Bozier Joel says, Legacy needs more new players, both online and in paper, and the philosophy for bans should follow what's best for a new casual player experience, rather than following what would appeal most to players who are already deeply entrenched in the format. I think that's generally the problem with like getting new players into a format, is if social media content is not made for beginners, right? Like, I started, like, just very recently, I started to also address newer players who haven't even picked up Legacy, you know, and give them like advice, like, okay, this is like a deck you can probably pick up, and you know, you should run in your first tournament, stuff like that. But a lot of the Legacy content you see, like, from, I don't know, like Bosch and Roll, and from the Epic Storm, I guess, like, also like myself included, and some others, right? Like, we talk to the audience as if they know everything about Legacy, and that's okay, but I think you lose a lot of new players who are potentially interested, right? It's the same with other formats too, but that's just the nature of how people talk about their favorite format, right? Like, I don't want to explain what Brainstorm does every single time. I get that, but yeah, I think it's partially that, and also like it's dude, it's fucking expensive, dude. Legacy is expensive, so okay. Eli says, Legacy has a much higher win percentage of non-games than it used to have, simply because the power level of individual cards is too high. Yes, 100% with you, dude. If individual cheap cards can solo games, you add volatility to to the gameplay, and there is really no way around it. Increased power level of answers doesn't really help either because you have to draw them in a small window. That is true though. That is true. Remember guys, like when, for example, like if you play Nimble Mongoose and let's say you have threshold in like 2 turns maybe, you still need how many turns to win the game? 7, 8? Maybe a little less, right? But like your opponent has what, like 6, 7 turns to find something like engineered explosives, or maybe they can play like their Tarmogoyf Murktide region or like something, right? But if you compare this to, let's say, like Tamio, like for Tamio you need an answer kind of immediately, because if Tamio flips, you're in trouble. If she ultimates, it's lights out. And I think Tamio ultimates faster than Nimble Mongoose kills. I'm pretty sure. Maybe someone can do the math, but yeah. That's basically what Eli is saying, right? Like there are a few cards that are so powerful that you need an immediate answer. What's like another good example? What's another good example, chat? Nadu, for example, right? Like if someone plays Nadu, you can't say like, okay, yeah, I guess that, you know, that's fine. I'm just gonna ponder into a removal spell, and maybe you ponder, maybe you shuffle, maybe you didn't find the removal spell, and then you're giga dead, right? That sort of stuff. Like, that's a problem. True Name Nemesis versus Deathrite Shaman was chef's kiss, dude. Like you kill in 19 turns. That's funny. Geodude Jared says, hot tech, the format should be renamed Garnell. I really like that name. Cool. Okay. Ivy Stone says, while a good chunk of the Legacy community likes playing their blue decks to feel smart, there seems to be only a very small population of Legacy players who actively want to think about the format and apply that thinking outside of immediately jumping to ban conclusions. I mean, this is like, again, the like complain about things or try to actually innovate or like to find answers to a certain metagame kind of thing, right? Only actually to think about the format and apply the thinking outside of immediate jumping to the yeah. It is. I don't know when it started. I think a couple of years ago. All of a sudden, and this is not for Legacy only. This is for Modern too. And maybe Standard too. Yeah, also Standard, because the Standard got so many bans too. At some point, maybe it was like the 17, 18, 19, like around that time is like when social media got got really dominant, and Magic players like in general started to be very vocal about certain meta games and that they didn't appreciate the new meta game, or this card sucks, or this deck is way too powerful, blah blah blah. Because it wasn't always like that. I don't know when it changed though. But yeah, people should definitely brew more often than not. And also take deck concepts from I don't know, 10, 20 years ago is not necessarily a bad thing. You can learn a lot about deck concepts, or like how to build decks from like older deck lists. Because the spells are still powerful. The creatures are like much better now. But like a card like Stifle, for example, like Stifle was very good 20 years ago. But Stifle still sees players these days because it's such a unique, cheap, efficient effect. And there will always be activated and triggered abilities in Legacy, no matter how the metagame changes. So, yeah. Play more Stifles. Aber cut Nimble Mongoose.